my channel, Born on 11/9/70, and I'm about to teach you what I believe no one has figured out yet. And once you hear it, it's going to hopefully change your life forever. One of the beautiful things is, even when I take naps and everything, I can, thanks to meditation and stuff that I've been really getting into, and I highly recommend people getting into, um, even if I take a nap, I'll get downloaded information all the time. And it's, whether it's coincidence, whether it's a dream, however you want to perceive it, that's fine with you. But I find the information extremely helpful, extremely beneficial, and it makes sense. And it would be selfish for me to keep it to myself. So I want to pass it on to those who are ready to hear. And I thank all of you for that choose to do that. All right. So if you have any guilt in your life, I want you to get rid of it right now, and I'm going to explain. Or if you feel that anyone's ever wronged you or you've wronged anybody, I want you to get rid of that right now. And I'm just showing an image of my cat sleeping because I think that's better than just seeing me. Um, when you come to this, before you're born, everything in your life that you will ever do with anyone you will ever encounter has already been contracted. It's been preordained. You cannot, because of free will, do anything to anyone without their permission. So here's the secret that I don't think anybody's ever seen or realized. You cannot do anything in this world to anyone that hasn't already been given permission to do. And everything that ever has happened, is happening, or will happen to you was already ordained before you came here. You made an agreement with those. Why? Because it teaches you both something. Now remember, because of free will, everybody has the choice to go away from the contract. In other words, just because if you're writing a movie, just because there's a script, does not mean you have to read it verbatim, word for word. Sometimes you can improvise. The idea is to see life, and I'm sorry this is out of focus, I'm trying to get the other cat. The idea is to see your life solely as an observer. In other words, your job was, before you came here, when you were light, you made agreements with others to come here and say, okay, I want to experience this. And they say, well, I want to experience that. And you all make agreements. Okay, this is how we're going to get there, by doing this, 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 and this. So it's already happened. So think of it this way. It's like you're the producer of a movie, and before you came here, you made the movie. Now, when you're born and you rise to the level of where you can see and hear and read and all that other fun stuff. Well, you could see and hear from the beginning, but you know what I mean. The idea is to sit back and just watch the movie. So if you see it through the eyes of the observer, the whole idea is seeing what unfolds from the contracts you made before you came here and reporting it back to the source. Now, whether you believe in this or not, or agree with this or not, that is okay with me, because everybody is at different parts of their life. So I understand that, or what I usually say is understand that. But what I'm saying is, if you are filled with guilt, because I had a dream where I saw a bunch of my animals that have passed on. And I kept saying to them, oh, I'm sorry I did this, or I'm sorry I didn't do that, or I'm sorry this and that and the other thing. And because they were so full of love, they said, well, why do you need to be sorry? There's nothing to be for. You don't need to ask for forgiveness. That is why the true source, whether you believe it's God or the singularity or whatever, the definition of that true love is it will love you regardless of what you've done. So it's you don't need to apologize for anything. Now, I'm not saying go out and commit atrocities, because that's just wrong and that's something nobody should ever do. So don't take that as, oh, I can do whatever I want. There are always consequences for your actions, so remember that. Whether they're contracted or not, if you deviate, think of it this way. If you have a contract and you deviate from your contract, what happens? So keep that in mind. So it's not a free-for-all to do evil things or say there's no consequences. There are always consequences for your actions, both here and above. But what I'm saying is, you don't need to fill yourself with guilt for the things that have happened. If, for example, let's say you saw an animal that was starving, and you brought it food, and then you gave it more food, and more food, and more food, and one day it died because maybe it got diabetes, for example, because too much food was given to it. Don't feel guilty, because you actually helped it, and it was agreed upon before you came here. So the guilt eats you alive. It puts you in dis-ease, gives you discomfort, disharmony. You've already made your movie before you came here. All the players that are in the movie agreed to their parts. If you ever watched a movie in your lifetime, you know there are sex scenes, there are death scenes, there are sad scenes, there are happy scenes. But they're with people who contracted to be in that movie, to play that specific part, knowing what was going to happen. You don't watch your movie and beat yourself up over it, because all that does is it hurts you. There's nothing to be forgiven for, because everything is done beforehand with mutual permission. Same thing with anyone who has ever, quote-unquote, wronged you. That no one has ever wronged you. Even if you felt pain in your life, it was to guide you in a certain direction that made you who you are. Be thankful for those things, because again, they are things that you contracted with before you came here. To those who do not believe in afterlife or reincarnation or anything like that, please explain to me, those that believe that when you close your eyes in this third dimensional realm, you go to nothing, then I ask you this: where did you come from? The idea is to get out of the paradigm, to get out of the circular trap. You are infinite. You are loved, regardless of what you do or who you are. Release all of your pains. You don't have anything to need to be forgiven for. When you are ready to go home, and it has to be naturally, anyone who is, I want to put the right words. Well, let's put it this way. You have to expire naturally. Do not ever take your own life. I promise you, it will make you have to relive over and over again. But when you close your eyes for the last time naturally, whether that's through an accident, whether that's old age or an illness, whatever, you will see that you are going back to true love. And everything that you experienced here was nothing more than contracts with other light beings to experience whatever they could to bring back to source, so it can learn through your eyes. You have nothing to be sorry about. You have nothing to ask for forgiveness for. Everything has been created before you opened your eyes for the first time here. If you see everything in life through the eyes of the observer, without judgment, When you close your eyes naturally for the last time, report it back, and you will have done what you came here to do. Let go of your pain, let go of your sorrow, let go of your regrets. Those who you helped, even if it did not turn out the way you wanted it to, does not change the fact that you did something to someone, whether it be an animal or a human or what have you, even a plant. It does not change your generosity or your kindness or your goodness. So don't beat yourself up if you went to help an animal or went to help a friend or did something and it did not turn out the way you had hoped. That's expectation. And you never know what the other side of that situation's learning lesson was out of it. If you see it as an observer, you'll see it differently. Now, because of free will, you could ignore every single thing I've said. You could say it's hogwash. You could make fun of it. You could say this person's crazy. You can blah, blah, blah. Most people will never even hear this video. But for those it resonates with, it will make sense, and that's not a coincidence. It means you needed to hear this. You are ready for the progression. Because if you were in first grade and every teacher came along and gave you every lesson, in other words, here you are as a kindergartner, you don't even know how to really read yet. You maybe know your ABCs, maybe you can count to 10, but just imagine every single bit of information ever known to man is dumped in front of you, and they say, okay, here you go. It's in every language ever created. What are you going to do with that information? It's useless. You need to be taught it, which means you have to be at certain levels. So I understand there are going to be many people that will hear this when they're not ready to. But the beautiful part is it will always be here for the time that you say, okay, I didn't understand it then, but I get it now. And that's what's most important. So to me, it's not about the image that you see before you. It's about the message. That's why I don't show my face in this video, because I don't want it to be about me. I want it to be about the message. So it doesn't matter if the person is gay or straight. It doesn't matter if the person is Republican or Democrat. It doesn't matter if the person is black or white. It's the message that is important. See your life as an observer, and your life will change forever. And I promise you, it will be for the better. Because everything that you've ever done, everything that you are doing, and everything that you will do has been already contracted before you were born. You've made your movie. You've hired the actors to play their parts that they agreed upon. Because, like in this world, when people get money for what they do, when they make a movie, you don't know what kind of better lives they get from participating in your learning lessons, because it's never one-sided. That's why there's always a duality. And when they talk about the three and the trifecta, it's because God is the source. Whether you believe in that or not does not change what is. So I thank you for those who listened. I hope you will share this to others if you feel it beneficial. Let me know years later if this did not resonate with you and all of a sudden it did. This is not about judgment. This is all about helping those who are ready to hear the message become higher up in their evolution that they're seeking. If you're watching my channel, it's because you're seeking something. You wouldn't be here. So the ones that even make fun of it, maybe they just needed something to get themselves out of the craziness of the day. There is always a benefit, even to the ones that you don't think that's possible. So even the ones that will make fun of this, I thank them for being here. Knowledge is only beneficial to you if you are at the level to understand it. But that does not change the the positive benefits of the information. It just means you're not ready to receive them yet. If you're a kindergartner, you're going to know nothing about physics. So what good is having all of that information there when you're not ready to understand it? You have to be taught, which takes time. And that's why you're here. And that's why you're in a place where time is of the essence. So I hope this helps you all understand a little bit more about yourselves. And I hope you will see life in a different way. To those who aren't there yet, the information will be here if and when you ever want it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. And I hope you all have a wonderful day.